The Dawn of Masteries mod is more of a mod pack for Grim Dawn that brings together a whole bunch of different class mods for a whopping total of 53 playable classes, and a few more bonus mods and the mod creator's own quality of life additions on top of that. So on top of these new classes, there are other mods like Grimmest that is a whole new layer of difficulty that allows you to increase mob spawns by a ridiculous amount, quality of life changes like every shrine now being desecrated, much bigger inventory and stash space, and there are a ridiculous amount of new items, including many new legendaries, epics, and sets for the many new classes. And getting access to these items would be pretty hard with normal drops, since there's like 53 classes to have to drop these items for, but this mod makes every epic and legendary item now drop as a token that you can trade into a blacksmith for items belonging to a specific mod. So you can gather the items that you need for your specific class that you're playing much easier. These blacksmiths can be summoned by these consumable items that you purchase from the now revamped Devil's Crossing faction merchant. Personally, I like to organize them in my inventory like this, so thank God they gave us such bigger inventory space. These epics and legendaries aren't the only new items added with this mod at all. There are a whole lot of new components, potions, and special augments for your items. These can almost exclusively be found by opening these mysterious lockers that mobs will randomly drop. Almost all of these new components will add skill points to the new classes or something special to do with one of the new skills alongside other stat boosts, other than the Diablo 3 gems, which are just extremely powerful components that you can put in your armor. You have something like the Amethyst that gives you a whole bunch of physical resistance, which by itself is really powerful. The new potions act like the vanilla elixirs that give you a buff that can last up to 10 minutes. These new buffs all give general power boosters, like 33% bonus XP, 15% total speed, 10% damage absorption, and there's a few others that just generally make you more powerful. If you're already sold on this mod, it'll be the first link in the description. All you have to do is download, unzip, and drop it into your Grim Dawn mods folder, open a custom game, and then you're set. Just be careful about playing the Dawn of Masteries characters in a different mod, since it will almost definitely brick your character, which would really suck. My personal experience with this mod has been pretty fun. I've tested out a lot of the new classes to around level 12 just to see what their ideas are, and 1 to above level 70. I really like the idea of how chaotic this mod pack is, combining all of these classes that were never ever meant to put together and then completely demolishing thousands of monsters with the Grimmest difficulty settings, an experience that you'll never be able to get from vanilla Grim Dawn. I would never recommend this as a complete replacement to vanilla Grim Dawn, unless vanilla Grim Dawn just wasn't doing it for you. I'll go into why in a moment, but it is super fun just to test out all of this new stuff and see all of these new items. A bunch of small changes made to the game with this mod pack makes the early leveling much quicker. Mostly the dead body just outside Devil's Crossing now dropping a locker with this new relic that gives you amazing stats and this slam ability at level 1 with a much higher base damage than anything should have at that level. As well as the many new potions I mentioned, a lot of the new components having extremely powerful effects, like +1 to all skills in a class at a very early level, and the first tab of the Devil's Crossing faction shop now being revamped to not only sell these modded blacksmiths, but also they'll now sell merits that let you skip right to the next difficulty and unlock all the portals right after you beat Warden Krieg. Don't expect a completely balanced and unique experience with every class in this mod. When you're putting all of these mods together from all of these different creators, things are going to get really crazy, confusing, and pretty buggy. For example, both the Elementalist from the Zenith and the Paragon from the Cataclysm have a nearly identical ice wall ability. The Wizards from Diablo 3's teleport skill is super buggy, and it lets you teleport to places that no vanilla skill would ever let you get to. Diablo 2's Druid class has some bugged animations, and combining it with the Cataclysm's same named Druid class makes your character a Grove Keeper and Druid for some reason, and not a double Druid like I expected. It's a good way to experience all of these mods at once. Some were definitely not meant to be combined and aren't very balanced, but it's all in good fun to just push this mods to its limits, which is where the Grimmest comes into play. Use this new item that starts in your inventory when you start your character to summon this NPC that you can use to change the Grimmest settings, and you can set this to ridiculous levels and just turn your game into a complete madhouse. This does crash the game a lot in my experience. I did end up having to clean up a lot of my Grim Internal settings to make the game not look so cancerous because there are just so many heroes and so many mobs on the screen. So I first picked the Paragon class from Cataclysm, which I fell in love with. This ability, called the Elemental Volley at level 1, felt so great to use. I combined that with the Wizard class from Diablo 3, which made my character a Magilord. I tested out nearly every spell from both of the classes. The Paragon had mostly lightning spells with cooldowns, and the Wizard had a whole bunch of different elemental spells and transmuters to change what elements those spells do. I ended up going with these Flaming Hot Cheetos from the Wizard class that were doing way more damage than anything else was at that level. Then I used one of the new transmuter components to convert 50% lightning damage to fire, picked up a passive that cast lightning from the sky whenever I crit, and got this big giant meteor shower ability in the Wizard, and this black hole ability with the fire damage transmuter to pull enemies into that huge storm of death, and that was my build. And I was really happy with that class combination. It's the build that I leveled the most out of any other classes that I've tried. But I will say that I did crash a lot while playing this, especially in normal difficulty where I raised the Grimmest levels up pretty high to farm a lot of epic tokens and revered faction reputation with the Mammoth resistance. I really like the classes from the Cataclysm that I've played. The Paragon and the Voidcaller have very nice skill sets and very cool animations. I also really enjoyed the Zenith classes, especially the Necrotic. It felt so great to play, and maybe I'm the only one nerdy enough to care about this stuff, but every skill on every Zenith class has a lore piece that fits into the Grim Dawn world, and are pretty awesome if you want to give them a raid. Also, every Zenith class has special skills when mixed with another Zenith class, like combining Riftstalker with Champion unlocks this really powerful chance on being hit, skill, and a total lightning to chaos conversion. I won't go over every class I played, some were a lot more fun than others, but for the most part I stuck with my Magilord to endgame. Like I said, I farmed a lot with the Grimmest settings near maxed on normal, which was pretty laggy and I did crash a lot. I kind of abused this insane amount of heroes to grind reputation for Mammoth resistance super quickly and farm a ton of lockers and epic tokens. Grimmest gets really messy. I'm really thankful that it is an optional thing and we don't have to have it on. Once I got set up for Elite, the game slowed back down to a normal pace, which I personally enjoy much more. Mixing Vanilla's Potion of Clarity with the Mod and Mentor's Potion, and a slightly higher Grimmest setting in Elite, I was able to level up through Elite pretty quickly to equip this endgame set for the Meteor skill for my build that I can easily craft for just 4 legendary tokens each. If you want to get into this mod but don't know where to get started, there's this amazing tool made by a fellow Grim Dawn content creator, Grimpedia. This resist reduction calculator on Google Sheets that lets you input any of the 50 plus classes from this mod alongside devotions and equipment to see the maximum resist reduction that you could reach for each type of damage, which is super helpful for knowing which classes are going to be good and what damage types. I'll put a link to his video going over it in the description. Go check him out if this mod interests you. He's made quite a bit of build guides for the Dawn of Masteries builds, which is really cool, so I'm hoping that can help many of you guys out. Overall, I think this mod is worth playing if you're looking for something new in Grim Dawn, but I wouldn't recommend it as a complete replacement for vanilla, unless the vanilla game just wasn't fast enough for you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was able to shed some light on this mod and help you decide whether or not you wanted to play it or not. I recently did a poll on my channel of what kind of content people want to see, and the options were Grim Dawn lore, vanilla Grim Dawn, and Grim Dawn mods. I appreciate all of you guys for voting, and I see that Grim Dawn lore is something that a lot of people want to see, so I'm going to be definitely working on a lot of those really soon. Right now, I'm working on 2 different modded videos, so those are going to be coming out first, but then I'm going to put a lot of work into Grim Dawn lore. I have a lot of ideas on what to go over, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So once again, thank you all for watching, and thanks to all my subscribers for sticking around and watching my videos. I really do appreciate you guys a lot. It means a lot to me.